Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path. Today's video is a little different. We're going back to Tallarook, and this video is going to be about a specific track. So for those that don't know, Tallarook is just off the Hickey Freeway, quite near to Seymour. We access Tallarook via Ennis Rd, as you can see there on the on-screen map, from the Hickey Freeway coming in on the western side. And this first track is called Mountain Track. It ascends from about 630 metres up to 800 metres over a distance of about 1.7 kilometres to Mount Hickey. So let's go.
So here we are at the start of the mountain track, and it starts off climbing straight away. There's a few ruts you can probably see in the video, although they never quite come out as clearly as when you're actually there. So while I'm getting started on this track, because it starts off fairly gently, it's a fairly easy start, although you are straight into a few sort of rocky sections. It's all quite drivable. Let me give you a quick rundown on Newtracs, the maps that you saw there at the start of this video. Newtracs is available on your PC and also as an app on iOS and Android devices. The data on Newtracs is put in by users, and that contributes to give tracks a rating that's a little bit like the HEMA system. Green is easy, blue is medium, black is difficult, and red is quite difficult. And the exclamation marks you've seen there, they indicate obstacles or winch points. And like everything, they're best taken as a guide. But look, the thing I really like about the Newtracs maps is they're very clear and uncluttered and easy to read. And the fact that the rating is put together by people who have actually driven the track and built up over time, I think is a really good way. And it was actually one of the few sources of information that I could find. So as I said at the start, this video is a little different. This is the whole track, mountain track, up Mount Hickey at Tallarook. So yeah, let's get into it. As you can see, we've been making a pretty good pace already, and it's a reasonably rocky track with a steady climb, nothing particularly steep. You can see, some of the sections like just there, the car is moving around quite a lot, but it's all pretty drivable. Driving this track today, I've got Matt with me and his troopy. You'll see probably not so much on this video, but some of the other videos from this trip to Tallarook, when I put them together, you'll see his troopy in action a little bit more. We probably found, let's call it, two main obstacles that were noteworthy. So the first of those is actually coming up just around this corner. Again, it's not necessarily coming up on the screen particularly well, but there's a decent sized rock step there. You just saw the front of the car pop up, and as you can see there, we've been hung up there, whether that's the rear suspension or what, I'm not 100% sure there, but as you do in this situation, we just reverse off and reset for a slightly different line and come back and tackle it again. I'm not sure if it was actually a different line or just a little bit more mumbo on the right pedal. You can see the dust there coming up, but either way, we got over that fairly comfortably. And you can see this next section is also quite rocky and rough, but again, quite drivable. Nothing here, unlike some other tracks in Tallarook, is going to give you panel damage or anything like that. So after a couple of hours on the bitumen, we found this a really great start to exploring some of the tracks at Tallarook State Forest. You certainly do need to be selective. On some of the other tracks, we found some guys that have been stuck for quite a long time. So you can see here, this is another long steady climb, not super steep, but pretty rocky, pretty bouncy, and just fun to drive. Not super difficult, but not just a two-wheel drive gravel road either. So this track, I am fairly sure, on the Newtracs system, was rated think it was rated as probably blue or maybe black. Let me just have a look at that. I can't quite recall the colour scheme. But what we found, particularly this day, was the difficulty rating of tracks, I think by some people too, particularly the steeper ones, depends on whether they were rated by people driving up or driving down them, because obviously that makes a difference. So yeah, just double checking that now. This is rated as a black track with a red line indicating some difficult sections. So like a lot of tracks, conditions can probably change. We certainly drove some other tracks that were also rated black that were significantly more difficult than this. So you can see there, just like so many tracks, you think you're getting to the top and then you realise actually this is just the first crest and you've got a short descent before actually climbing up Mount Hickey proper. So that little rise there tops out at about 710 metres, and then you descend back down before climbing back up to Mount Hickey at 800 metres. So we're just on that long steady climb now. Again, not super steep, but there's a great opportunity for some views to the right there, which is looking south, as well as to the north on the other side. So this is about mid-morning, so it was a great day to be out on the tracks, and as you can see, this section is quite drivable. It's almost a gravel road, just with the odd rock here and there. And on the whole, Tallarook was just such a scenic place to explore. Obviously, I'm editing these videos out of order if you guys are following the channel, because I still haven't posted the full video from my first trip to Tallarook. But this one didn't need a lot of editing, and it's a bit of a different style of video, so I was keen to get this up on the channel and hopefully get some feedback from you guys. So you can see as we're getting into this steeper section here, it's getting a little lumpier, a little more rocky, going's a little slower, but you know, if you take your time, the car will do its job and climb up over most of this without too much difficulty. Couple of little rock steps there, and some motorcyclists coming the other way. It's a really popular spot for all types of recreation at Tallarook. So we saw a lot of other four-wheel drivers, saw a few motorbike riders, even some mountain bike riders and hikers. So you do need to keep your eyes open for other people out enjoying the area. And it's such a tight geographic area, but there's so many tracks. We actually passed a lot of the same groups of people a few times. A few lumpy rocks there on this section, and where we're coming up to here is probably what I would call the second and most major, at least for us, obstacle on the track. You can see there's a pretty large rock sitting in the middle of the track there on the left, and another large rock on the right hand side, making a decent rock step up there. Now, particularly on tracks like this that I've never driven before, I've never been here before, I haven't seen anyone drive them, I always like to err on the side of caution, pull up, get out and have a look. It's much easier to get out and have a look and figure out where you're going to drive your car before having to go and potentially causing damage to your vehicle. Doesn't take too long. Just look and try to figure out if the wheels are going to fit between those rocks, or do I need to, you know, try and choose a different line. What's the what's going to be the best way to get up? And that's the thing. It depends on your vehicle and what sort of clearance your vehicle has, what kind of suspension you have. Because obviously my Pajero's IFS, that's matte there. Awesome day out with him and his troopy. Obviously his troopy's solid axle, so he's got a lot more suspension travel than I do, but with a solid axle you've got sometimes less clearance in some areas.
See how that goes, and if I need to reset, we'll reset.
So we did drive some of the obstacles a little differently. But the plan is try and put the wheels between the two rocks, drive up the rock on the right and stay to the right hand side of that large rock on the left. And as you can see, it's pretty lumpy through there, and I was really just wondering if I had clearance to get over that rock, and as it turns out I did without too much of an issue at all. And this is Matt with his troopy coming up. And just straight up and over it there, no issue at all. Plenty of flex in the troopy and plenty of power under the bonnet. And when I say plenty of flex, look, I know it's not, the troopies with the springs, with the leaf springs don't flex as much as coils all around and that sort of thing, but compared to IFS there's a lot more flex there. That's what I'm getting at. So from here it's just a really short, easy run up to the top of Mount Hickey. There's a fire tower up there, unfortunately not one that you can climb, and a little bit of power infrastructure, that sort of thing. So yeah, look, this was a great little track. It's about 1.7 kilometers long, and most people are driving it in about 10 to 12 minutes, and that's a similar time for us. So thanks everybody for watching. That was pretty much the entirety of Mountain Track. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video if you liked it, and leave a comment down below. As I said, look, I decided to do this format because I was having trouble finding information on the tracks in Tallarook myself when I was researching this video. So yeah, thanks everybody, and see you in the next one.